and I teach second grade. So I am going to be teaching you a second grade reading lesson today. And this is my first time teaching a lesson on TV. So this is just as new for me as it is for you, okay? So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing that we are going to look at today is our reading objectives. So that means, what do we need to know by the end of this lesson, okay? So our learning target, our reading objective today is recount stories, including fables and folk tales, and determine their central message, lesson, or moral. Now, that's a lot of big words. So what does that even mean? So what we're going to do is we're going to take that learning target and we're going to break it down, okay? So the thing that we're really going to focus on today is learning how to recount stories. Does anybody know what that means to recount a story? You heard the word counting, so maybe you're thinking about math, but no, that's not what it means. So let's think about our question. What does it mean to recount a story? Well, the word recount means to retell a story. Have you ever heard of the word retell before? I'm sure you have. I'm sure your teachers have already taught you about that. So, to retell a story just means to tell someone what is happening in the story that you just read. And that's what we're going to do today, okay? So I want you, we have an I can statement here. I want you to read the I can statement with me, okay? I can retell a story. Okay, read it with me one more time. I can retell a story. Awesome job. Okay, so today when we're working on retelling a story, we are going to focus on five parts of the story, okay? So I have a little chart here. This is my retelling hand. Have you ever heard of a 5-finger retell? Yeah, you have. Okay, good. So everybody get those 5 fingers up in the air. Okay, and we are going to learn about the 5 parts that we can use to retell a story. Just like a puzzle, these 5 parts work together to make up your story, okay? So, when you think about retelling a story, what's one thing that you would think is important to talk about? Okay, good. Maybe the setting of the story. That would be one thing that you would need to determine. Awesome. Okay, what else? Maybe you see my little chart here. Maybe you can kind of guess based on the pictures. Characters, that's right, okay? Characters are the people. Maybe it's animals, or maybe it's a thing in your story that are the characters, okay? What else can you think of? When you're retelling a story, what's a good story element? Yeah, okay, sometimes there is a problem in the story. So maybe something goes wrong and the characters have to work together to try to solve the problem. Good, so far we have setting, characters, problem. All right, what else? 2 more things that are important. Okay, some events in your story. Maybe when we talk about the events, those are the things that go on in the story. So maybe you're thinking about the beginning. I have a little roller coaster here. We start with the beginning, move to the middle of our story, what happens in the middle, and then the end. Good job. Okay, and the last thing, if you look at my picture, so we had a problem, and now, whoop, we've unlocked the problem. So whenever you solve a problem, what is that called? The solution. Great job, friends. The solution to the problem. So that is what we're going to work on. We're going to work on using our 5 fingers to retell a story, okay? Can y'all read them with me? So we have the setting, characters, problem, events, solution. Great job. Okay, so we're going to take a look at a fun story today. I know that our standard really focuses on fables and folktales, but today I just wanted to have fun with it, okay? So we are going to read a fun story and practice retelling, okay? This story is called Knuffle Bunny, a Cautionary Tale by Mo Willems. Have y'all ever heard of Mo Willems before? I bet your teacher has read you some stories by Mo Willems. He is the author that wrote stories about Elephant and Piggy and the pigeon. Okay, y'all know those characters? Yeah, those are great. All right, so we're going to read Nuffle Bunny, A Cautionary Tale. And one thing I would like to point out before I start reading is the illustrations in this story are just absolutely beautiful. He uses real pictures and sticks his characters into the photos. It makes it really come to life. All right, here we go. Not so long ago, before she could even speak words, Trixie went on an errand with her daddy. And notice her dad is holding a laundry basket. So where might you infer that they're going? Maybe to go wash their clothes. Yeah, all right. So they're going on an errand. Trixie and her daddy went down the block, through the park, la la la, past the school, and into the laundromat. Have y'all ever heard of a laundromat before? Yeah, that's right. That's a place where you can go and drop off your clothes to get them all washed. Trixie helped her daddy put the laundry into the machine. Look at Trixie. She is being so silly. She even got to put the money into the machine. Then they left. And if you notice, if you look really closely at the illustrations, something's happening. But a block or so later, Trixie realized something. Look at that face. That's a worried face, isn't it? Trixie turned to her daddy and said, "Aggle flabble gabble!" "That's right," replied her daddy. "We're going home." "Aggle flaggle clabble!" said Trixie again. "Blaggle plabble! Wumby flappy!" Snurp. Oh no. Can you guess what happened? Are you making a prediction in your mind of what went wrong? "Now, please don't get fussy," said her daddy. Well, she had no choice. Trixie bawled. Wah! She went boneless. She did everything she could to show how unhappy she was. She was throwing a fit. By the time they got home, her daddy was unhappy too. Does the dad know what's wrong? Does he know what Trixie's problem is? Not yet. As soon as Trixie's mommy opened the door, she asked, "Where's Snuffle Bunny?" Look at the dad's face. Do you think he realized the problem now? Yes, he did. The whole family ran down the block and they ran through the park. They zoomed past the school and into the laundromat. So I want to stop right there and see if you can make any more guesses. So we know what our problem is, right? So what do you think the solution to the problem is going to be? Maybe, yeah, let's find out. Trixie's daddy looked for Nuffle Bunny and looked and looked and looked. But Nuffle Bunny was nowhere to be found. So Trixie's daddy decided to look harder until Nuffle Bunny! Woohoo! And those were the first words Trixie ever said. The end. All right, that is one of Miss Nolan's favorite books, and I thought it was going to be good because it was just Easter yesterday, and so it had to do with the bunny, so I thought that was a perfect little story. So now let's take our story and let's practice retelling using our 5-finger retell, okay? So we're going to go through the parts, all right? Remember, let's go through them again together. All right, so we have the setting. And remember, what is the setting again? Where the story takes place. Awesome. So we have setting, characters. What are characters? Yes, friends, people, animals, or the things in your story. Okay, and then we have problem, which is what went wrong. That's exactly right, okay? Our events, beginning, middle, and end. Awesome, y'all are doing great. Okay, and the last part of your five-finger retell, one more time, is the solution. That's right, so the answer to your problem, how you solve the problem. Okay, so let's think about Knuffle Bunny, and let's retell it. So what was the setting of our story, Knuffle Bunny? Okay, that's exactly right. So the setting of our story was in New York. That's where it took place, in a laundromat. That's exactly right. Awesome job. So I'm going to stick that up here on our chart. Now, it's important to remember, can your setting change throughout a story? Yes, it can. So you can definitely have more than one setting. So for this one, we know they're in New York. They did go to a laundromat. They also went through the park. Okay, so we could add more settings if we want to, but we're just going to think about the main setting of our story. All right, who were our characters? Yes, okay, so we had a couple of different characters, right? We had Trixie, which was the little girl. We had Knuffle Bunny, and we also had Mom and Dad. So let's add our characters to our chart. Good job. Now, who are the main characters? Yes, friends, Trixie and Knuffle Bunny. Those would be our main characters. All right, next up is the problem. So this one's easy. What went wrong in our story? Yes, Trixie lost her Knuffle Bunny. She was so sad. And you know, maybe you're making a text-to-self connection if you have ever lost something. So maybe this book reminded you of a time when you lost something that was really special to you. All right, and the event. So we're going to think about the beginning, middle, and end of our story. What happened in the very beginning? Hearing lots of answers. Yes. Okay, so Trixie and her dad went on an errand. They were taking their laundry to the laundromat. All right, so that was the beginning, and then as we moved through our story, what happened in the middle? Yes, that's whenever we had the problem. That's whenever Trixie realized that she lost her Knuffle Bunny, and she threw a fit, didn't she? And her dad was not happy with her, okay? And then beginning, middle, what happened in the end of our story? Yeah, so the daddy looked for Knuffle Bunny, and he found it. Yes, okay? And so that kind of leads us to our solution. So the problem was that Trixie lost her Knuffle Bunny. What's the solution? Yeah! They found Knuffle Bunny. Hallelujah! They were so excited. Trixie was so excited that she said her first words, didn't she? Yeah. Okay, so as you can see, we just retold a story. It was super simple, wasn't it? That wasn't hard at all, okay? We went through the important story elements, like we said, just like a puzzle piece. All of these things fit together for us to retell our story and really put it in our own words. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to put this story into my own words, kind of like a summary to sum up what happened in my story, okay? So, our story started in New York at a laundromat as Trixie and her daddy were going on some errands. Our characters were Trixie, Knuffle Bunny, Dad, and Mom. In our story, we had a problem. Trixie lost her Knuffle Bunny, and she cried and cried and cried because no one knew what had gone wrong. But then Trixie's daddy searched for Knuffle Bunny and looked and looked and looked, and they found Knuffle Bunny. Awesome job. Okay, so that's what we just did. We just went through an entire retell of our story. So now I am going to tell you some fun things that you can do at home to practice retelling your story. So I know hopefully you have gotten a packet, a work packet from your school that your teacher has put together for you. So what you can do if you see those, you will have some stories in your packet and you can practice retelling those stories, okay? So I'm going to give you 2 really fun activities that you can do with those stories. One thing that you can do, or just any book, it doesn't have to come from the packet, grab a book. Read, read, read. Read and practice retelling, okay? So one thing that you can do is you can trace your hand, which is what I did here, okay? You can do it on a regular piece of paper, trace your hand and have fun coloring it, or you could do it if you have any construction paper or a colorful piece of paper. But all you have to do is trace your hand on the piece of paper and then cut it out. And then you can practice, just go through all the story elements. Each finger will represent one story element. Characters, setting, problem, events, solution. And as you get a book or you get a story and you read it, just practice pulling down the fingers for whatever part of the story you retell, okay? So that's something fun you can do at home. And another thing that I think you're really gonna like is, have you ever seen The Wizard of Oz? Some of you have, some of you haven't. Okay, so I'm sure you've heard the song, Follow the Yellow Brick Road. Sing it with me. Follow the yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick road. Yes. Okay, so what you can do is you can get some paper. It doesn't have to be yellow, okay? It can be whatever color you'd like for it to be, and you can color it. All right, so get some paper and make your own yellow brick road on the floor, okay? And so as you move through the yellow brick road, practice retelling. So first I would set this one on the ground, characters, okay? And then I've got setting, again, problem, good, events, good, and solution. So you can lay those out on the floor, and I even have some extra blank ones so I can make my yellow brick road super long, okay? And as you practice retelling the story, you can follow the yellow brick road. So as you move through it, okay, we're at our characters. Who are the characters? Move through your yellow brick road. All right, what was the setting? And you can practice retelling your story to your mom, your dad, your grandparents, your brother, your sister. You can even retell a story to your stuffed animal, right? Just have fun with it. And I bet for the rest of the day, you are going to be singing, Follow the Yellow Brick Road in your head. Okay, so I hope that you enjoyed our lesson today, okay? Just remember that today we were really focusing on retelling a story, and I definitely want you practicing at home, okay? Now, as we move through these lessons, we're going to work on the rest of this. We're going to get to read some fables and folk tales, which I think you'll really like, and we're going to continue working and learning together, okay, guys? So what I want you to tune in next time, because next time, Miss Nolan is going to have a super fun theme. Okay, so on Thursday, when you tune in at 10 o'clock for second grade reading, I'm going to have a fun theme. I'll give you a hint. I'm going to be dressed up as someone who works in a kitchen and does a lot of cooking. Who do you think I'm going to be? Tune in to find out. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.